All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mappy Hour Maker Series. Really psyched to have everyone here tonight and to be back doing online events. I'm Sarah. I'm the founder of Mappy Hour, and we've been doing this Maker Series for 2 years now, thanks to the support of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. So thank you so much to them for supporting Mappy Hour and makers across the country. And if there are any of you who are new to Mappy Hour, we are a community of urban dwelling outdoor enthusiasts. And our big chapters are in New York City, Denver, Seattle, Chicago, and DC. So come hang out if you're in one of those cities. And if not, we are on Instagram and online, so you can come hang out with us there. Tonight, I'm very excited to be introducing two very cool makers who have also been part of the Mappy Hour community for a huge number. I don't even know what year you guys started coming, but like since the beginning, more or less. So it's very fun to have Eduardo and Jess have been part of the community for a long time. They've been Mappy Hour speakers and now they're Mappy Hour makers. So ba-ba-da-ba, now introducing Eduardo and Jess.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you, Sarah, for that introduction. We have been really eager participants with Mappy Hour for years now. I remember like Outdoor Fest in New York City. It's really like what got us into trail running. So we have lots of history with Mappy Hour. So just like so thrilled to be part of this right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with who you guys are as adventurers. You kind of mentioned trail running, but like what gets you fired up? How do you like to spend time in nature? Like tell us about that side of yourselves.
Well, we started like maybe hiking and then participating in all the Mappy Hours and Outdoor Fest. I remember that we have our first camping experience with a new tent, I remember, in Staten Island in Outdoor Fest. So that was really, really, really cool. And then we took the same tent and then we went to the Catskill and the Adirondacks, I remember, and road trips and start everything, exploring the Northeast. I would say that hiking, backpacking was the beginning, and then with the experience that we have in running and then trail running, and I remember running in Central Park for one of the events too. That was really cool. So yeah, and now maybe something new, pack rafting. That is something really, really cool. Be able to put your backpack inside of this tiny, tiny, tiny inflatable boat and then crossing a portion of water and then backpack again and then pack raft again and then continue doing that.
Yeah, we did a really cool trip this past fall in Maine where we were basically doing pack rafting on the Northern Forest Canoe Trail. Then we packed up our boats, threw on our backpacks, and returned on the Appalachian Trail. So it just like ended up being this really incredible adventure of both doing parts of both of these long distance trails, and it was fall foliage, and it was gorgeous, and it was Maine, and it's lots of fun. Can't wait to do more trips like that soon.
Yeah, I feel like pack rafting is not something I've ever done because it seems like very heavy to carry a raft. But I love the idea of like being able to create these new trails and new ways of connecting water and trail to like do something a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely a whole different perspective, like the one that you get from the top of a mountain or in the middle of the lake. And so cool to be able to combine the two.
And actually carrying your life jacket and paddles in the top of the mountain.
That too.
Yeah.
You really have to work for it. Awesome. Love all that. I'll also plug, they have a short film about trail running in Patagonia, which I'll put a link in the chat so everyone can watch it too, which is what they came and talked to Mappy Hour about. But tonight we're here to talk about you two as artists, and to jump in, let's do a little bit of context if people didn't see your Instagram or your website. What is Soijen, and what do you make?
Well, Soijen is a collaboration between the two of us as artists, and really like what we focus on is we like to say we make goods and gifts that celebrate adventure and the outdoors, and our focus is kind of on digital art, but we really love experimenting with watercolor, even some like woodworking. Like we're all about, getting our hands into different things. But our designs are really about celebrating pack rafting and running and hiking, and also like the communities and the hubs of like where you can do those activities. So we're based in both Vermont and Patagonia, so we also have like a lot of designs that just celebrate those outdoor communities that are really hubs for all these fun activities that we love. And yeah, so it's kind of the intersection of all those things. And it's what we've been growing since 2019. Right?
Yeah, 2019 actually.
Okay, that was my next question. Well, it was my second. I have two more questions until we get there. To lead up to that, what is your background as artists? Was it something you've done in a professional sense, or has it been more of a passion? Have you done it all your lives? Did you discover it as adults? Like, how has art kind of played a role for both of you?
Well, I have since sixth grade in primary school. I remember going to every Saturday for like comic lessons. Every Saturday, I remember going with my brother. My brother followed that path. I took another road and then I come back to this one. But I think that all started for our love for maps and Mappy Hours coming from that. Yeah, I was a sailor in Patagonian fjords in Chile. So my passion for looking at this map and where I am and what is a mountain, what is a lake. And then I start just for explaining things or for like inspiration. I start drawing about Patagonia, maps of Patagonia. Like, where is this place? How far of this? And how I can draw this place from like an eye view from the top of the mountain. So we start from Patagonia. And then it was in 2016 when we took this road trip with our band and in Tierra del Fuego. That Tierra del Fuego was southern Patagonia. And then we got this inspiration of, I need a map of Tierra del Fuego. We couldn't like find something like really big. And I said, hey, I can actually draw something with the places that we were visiting there. And then that was the first design of Soijen, the Tierra del Fuego tote bag. And then start, hey, we can do actually our hometown, Puerto Natales, with Torre del Paine National Park. And then start everything.
And what was, so you had these maps that you were making for fun and for yourself. How does it go from I'm making these just to make them to like, we're now going to print them and sell them? What was kind of the pivot point there?
Yeah, I think so we really actually started Soijen in Chile, in Patagonia, which Eduardo kind of alluded to. But it really started because we have a lot of friends who work in tourism down here. We have friends who have like shops and little gift stores. And we would go and we would look at the designs and like the postcards and the posters. And they were just designs that feel like hadn't been updated for a very, very, very long time. So we were just like, well, everyone has like the typical Torre del Paine, which is a national park down here. They have like that design in the postcard, but we really wanted to also highlight other places and kind of just the region as a whole. And we just saw that as something that was missing from like the grant selection. And so we're like, hey, like we can fill that hole. We already have these ideas. We take these road trips and we see all these amazing places. Wouldn't it be cool to, make something out of that and celebrate kind of the less known places too of Patagonia?
I love that so much. I would say like, maybe this is showing like my ignorant American side, but like, I just feel like when you hear about Patagonia, everyone's talking about Torres del Paine and the region is gigantic, there's just so much more. And yeah, it's very different. Right. And so I think it's, I'm also, just for everyone, we're all in Patagonia right now. Different places, we're not together, but yeah, I think from being here, it's like just been like, oh my God, like I just had truly no idea the scale of the wilderness here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's really hard to find maps. I know you're not necessarily making maps, but I will say I feel like I see a market for that. Like I don't understand why there are no maps to anywhere.
That's why it's all still so off the beaten path.
That's true. That's part of it. You got to figure it out yourself. Cool. And what about the name? Where did the name Soijen come from?
So we got that inspiration for the people before us here, that they had this celebration where when they were walking in Tierra del Fuego and they meet each other, one of the celebrations that really resonated with us was go for a run. So they choose like a path, like a trail, they go for the top of that summit and then come back. And the winner, they call it Soijen. So we're not winners in that category. We don't run, that's fat, but at least we want to celebrate that. Like, be happy where you are, and if you have that particular like style of celebration, like running with your friends, that is amazing.
Yeah, and we really, I mean, since our company really was, and the inspiration was born here in Patagonia, and we learned so much about this place by trail running and exploring in that way that like is our passion. We really wanted to kind of pay respect to that, and that was really, I think, where the whole idea was born, to do these designs about Patagonia, this place that we just learned to love so much through running.
So are your designs being sold in Patagonia and also in the US? Like, can people find them in both places?
Yes, exactly. So in Patagonia, we're in a couple stores in Puerto Natales, which are
Mandala Andino in Puerto Natales town, and then Chilean Handicraft in Puerto Natales as well.
Yeah. And then in Vermont, we're in a whole bunch of stores in Vermont and some local shops. And we sell in person in Vermont when we're back in the Northern Hemisphere, which will be over summer and through December. But we're often in in-person events and festivals and markets all over the state. And for those who are not in Vermont or Patagonia, we also have an Etsy shop. So we sell online too.
Very cool. When you're at the markets, are you able to like, I mean, you're probably really busy like selling things, but are you able to get feedback or kind of like learn from people in any particular way when you're kind of interfacing?
Yeah, and that's actually our favorite thing about being in markets, which we didn't realize until we went to our first one, is we started selling mostly in stores and online. And what happens there is you never see the end person's reaction to your art, right? You like miss that whole moment. Whereas like when you're selling in person, like you can see people like start to laugh when they look at something or smile or be like, oh, like I know so-and-so would love this, or like really getting that like one-to-one feedback of your designs, seeing what people gravitate towards. Also getting requests like, oh, like we do a lot of dog designs because we're dog lovers, and like the amount of people who have asked for, can you do the same thing but with a cat, please? I would like get this for all my friends. So it's just so fun to get those responses in person, and yeah, and we also just love going to these events. They're often like these just like fun festivals in these small towns throughout Vermont, and just like being in that environment with like other makers and food vendors, and it just like tends to be just such a fun time for the community.
And like we said, we celebrate outdoor. Is for us, I remember one particular situation when one customer saw one of our postcards that we have, the La Aventura Nos Llama, and there was this van, vintage van. And then that customer said, oh my gosh, I have so many memories traveling across America with that van that you have right there with the same color. That was a smile for that customer, that was a smile for us. And for us in particular, is because now we have a band and we are having so much great memories and moments with that band. And actually I draw the same band and I put it there. So it's like that connection, that celebration that we always are like happy to hear from customers.
I feel like that could be a whole vertical, like we'll draw your van somewhere cool.
We'll draw your cat, we'll draw your van.
Cat and your van. Okay, so people give you requests. How else do you decide on designs? Like, is it just kind of what's inspiring you, or a place you want to go, or a place that you've been, or how does it become an actual?
I would say that places that we have been, or activities that actually we have been doing, like camping under the star, the Milky Way, here in Torre del Paine, or like canoeing in Vermont, in Adirondacks, in Canada too as well, or like road trip in Labrador and Newfoundland. So all that pictures that we have and all those like good memory that we have with our dog too are that inspiration to like add in or design and try to make it like in a way that everybody like it, with some colors on design and with some phrases. And we sometimes we put some Spanish phrases there just to like celebrate all the adventures in language. So, la aventura nos llama, mochiclista, bienvenido a casas. There are some words that people in different like market, they say, they remember, maybe they have a good experience in some Spanish speaking countries. So that is really nice to see and nice to hear too.
Yeah, I love that part of it, because I feel like the outdoor industry, big picture, doesn't have a lot of Spanish language media, even though it's a huge part of the larger community. So yeah, I've been loving to see those pieces that you guys have been making. So what's next? What's coming up for you guys?
Wow. Like you will say, we are in Patagonia, and we are in, I would say, like maybe central Patagonia. The place that we are is called Coyhaique in the Aysén region. We are super familiar with southern Patagonia, Puerto Natales, Punta Arenas, Tierra del Fuego, Puerto William. And we explore every single corner of that part, sailing and driving. So now it's time to move to central Patagonia. It's a little bit more greener, more rain, but it's still beautiful. And there is something that really like catch our attention that is called the Carretera Austral, the southern road, that many people are doing that with bicycle, driving or exploring different cars. So it's a carretera, it's a region, it's a map. So many ideas possible across that big map. And finally, I remember we did a big project drawing southern Patagonia. So it's going to be really nice to put together the full Patagonia in our type of perspective in that case.
That sounds so awesome. And if you need someone to help you distribute your maps to different places along the Carretera, let me know. I'm happy to go drive or bike it.
You're ready to get back on the bike?
Yeah, exactly. It's been a month. I'm ready to get back on the bike. Cool. And what about living in multiple countries? How is balancing that? And what's it like, just being in two places and figuring that part of the business out?
Wow, I would say for artist perspective, you have to be minimal, having like minimal, know all your collection of watercolors, maybe a few pens, and then your drawing and everything. It's like getting used to like maybe draw in some parks or some like benches in national parks, and then take that. You don't have your big machine of everything. It's just like taking notes and drawing and everything. I would say like for an artist perspective, that is the be minimal.
Definitely minimalist in all your supplies and everything. I think like in terms of like logistics and how we schedule things and whatnot, I think we're lucky in that we're basically in the northern hemisphere in the high season, and then we're in the southern hemisphere for the high season. So it works out pretty well because we'll be in Vermont from June to early December, and then we'll come back down to Patagonia. And so we do kind of hit like the best of both worlds. But it's just, yeah, it's a lot because it's kind of like running a business double, right? Like we have our community in Vermont, we have our community down here, we have our contacts and the stores we work with in Vermont, and same with down here. So it's a little bit of logistics gymnastics, and we're still trying to figure out like the best way to do it. But right now, just, yeah, having a lot of fun with it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I just had a question that I totally forgot. I don't know what it was, guys. So summer year round sounds great. Cool. Yeah, because I can't remember my last question. That's all that I have. Oh, I remember what it was. We put a thing up on Instagram to see if people from the Instagram community had a question, and we do have a question, which was, what are your recommendations for a trip to Patagonia? So I know that's not specific to your art, but yeah, if you have like a quick recommendation, the people want to know.
Wow, like you well say, Patagonia is really, really big. I would say that you are going to have more opportunities in life to visit more places in Patagonia, but I would say like don't try to rush and explore everything. Maybe find like one place that you can really enjoy and have good memories there. That is gonna be my big suggestion. And the other one is like there are some places that you need to book in advance, like 6 months maybe, and check everything, and then check the local rules or regulation of information, because sometimes they change too fast, I would say, or too soon. Yeah, I don't know. You have like more recommendations?
Yeah, no, just kind of saying the same. Like, it's a huge area of Patagonia, and unless you have a lot of time, which is awesome if you do, like it will be really hard to do it all and do it any of it justice. So maybe, you know, like for your first trip, like picking one region and really getting to know it well. I think, yeah, that's definitely the best way.
I love that. I feel like that's good advice in general for like traveling. It's like really know a place.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for sharing and being part of this. How can people find you and check out all your designs?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram. Our handle is Soijen, SOIJEN _. And you can also find us at our website, soijen.com, where you'll find all of our designs. We have our events up every year where you can find us in person if you happen to be local to Vermont. And yeah, all of our information is there.
Perfect. Cool. Well, that's it. That's a wrap for our Mappy Hour Maker Series for February. And thank you so much, Soijen, for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Until next time.